Predictions? I'm not making any predictions. Why would I even do that? It's impossible in the first place. But why? People aren't able to make basic plans for the coming month or two. And I'm somehow supposed to predict what's going to happen over the course of the next 12 months. That's not serious, really. It would be terribly irrational of me to even try to do that. I don't really understand how anyone in their right mind could entertain the idea that someone could just tell them what's going to happen in 2021 today. And as I said, I see no reason to do that. I'm not part of that culture on the left, or on the part of the left at least, where people are obsessed with predictions because they, some of them really think they can know the future. They can foresee it by waving some magic wands, by properly applying class analysis or properly using the Marxist method, and so on and so forth. And then when they know the future, then they can define convenient moments in time for them to intervene, whatever it means. And then they prepare, they intervene, and everything's fantastic. The movement is strengthened, the international working class is better off, and I don't know, if the conditions are favorable, probably socialism starts next month or something like that. So I'm not part of that, that's stupid. And the only purpose that it serves is those people who feed themselves this kind of metaphysical propaganda to feel superior to others. So no, I'm not a part of that. And I'm very pessimistic, okay, about the next year. I'm very pessimistic about the entire decade ahead of us, not just the next year. But I don't see why would I go public with such a statement. Because you see, once you do that, then you're almost automatically subscribed to this increasingly popular and very annoying trend of people displaying their fear and their anxiety, panic in ways which aren't even remotely serious. This splashing around of memes all over the internet, particularly in the anti-social media, as I call them. That's really troubling. Not because there are no foundations for people fearing. Obviously there are. But, adult people, when they are faced with a serious situation, and it seems like we all agree, or it seems like there is a general consensus in the public opinion that 2021 is going to be extremely difficult for the entire humanity, then as adult people, we should, face these problems, look for solutions, and so on and so forth. Whereas what's happening right now is normalizing panic and normalizing despair. And obviously, I don't want to be a part of this. This is very destructive, because in the final aftermath, what happens is that people get used to the pathology surrounding them and get used to the thought that it's going to become even worse pathology than it already is. And that just decreases, in my opinion, the kind of mental, if you like, capacity to properly react in critical situations, and to display rational reactions, and to act adequately. So that's why I'm reluctant to express my opinions, let alone make any predictions. Or maybe, actually one thing I could comment on, and it does contain an element of prediction, and it's about the so-called going back to normal. That's also a very popular phrase, also extremely irritating to me. As some people are trying to get used to, the situation of despair and total insecurity by doing what I, previously explained or described, then, the other part of the public opinion, they are preaching hope that things are going to be okay. The vaccine is here. Things are going to be all right sooner or later. Don't worry. It's just another month or two or maybe a couple of weeks. We don't know, but everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. That's beggar's belief. And I don't really have a problem when people do that massively, but it's very annoying when left leaders do the same, because they should know better, and they should be able to see the obvious, which is that the capitalist system globally is using the circumstances of the global pandemic to transform itself. And there's been very little discussion about how this is unfolding, this transformation of capitalism, except for some conspiracy theories about like Great Reset and stuff like this. But I'm talking about serious discussion. There's been very little of it, if any. And I think that's also very infantile. And what the left, I think, should do, the minimum, is it should think, it should organize itself, and it should think about how to act within the new normal that's developing around us. And there's obviously going to be, and here's my prediction, there's going to be a new normal, or at least obviously there's not going to be any kind of going back to normality. Even if the vaccine is here, then there are multiple other problems, like, for example, the terrible destruction of our planet, that have to be tackled, and that, perhaps capitalism can accommodate some kind of repression, general repression, in order to decrease the pollution levels. But I don't know, this is just a speculation. What I'm trying to say is that I would expect, and you asked me about predictions, I'm telling you about expectations, but I do expect that those who are serious about politics, about being left-wing, are actually going to come together, or start coming together, and develop new ideas, or maybe not so much new ideas, but new strategies of how to act within a system of obviously strengthened repression, where definitely the scope of our where the scope of the political action that we're used to is going to be drastically limited. Happy New Year.